Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. My page is about common sense, but I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, it's something very important. And not important to majority of masses of asses. The majority of masses of asses have these things in common, in which I mentioned. If you're a smoker, you're a drinker, you wear tattoos, you wear shades at night for some reason. If you do marijuana, you do DMT, escapism. Okay, I don't care what your excuses is. If you can't fight the demons from within yourself, you are a coward. Okay, all right. I understand life is hard, but using drugs, because I know I've talked to people who had a habit of using drugs because they kind of fucked up their life early on. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. Check out my credentials down below. There's no guy on the internet like this, like me. All right, I act cringy on purpose, not for attention and validation like a lot of guys do. But let me tell you something here. When I talk about things, it's not talked about on the internet. Most of it is not talked about on the internet. I'm the only indigo child on the internet right now talking. I'm a Schizo-Indigo, a Schizologist type of guy. So this make me eccentric as possible, esoteric as possible. You know where to find me if you want to join me for virtual counseling and therapy. Everybody needs therapy, and all of you are gods. But let's get on with the topic for today. Today's topic will be about why was religion created? Let's use deductive reason and break this down. Ever since I was young, I knew that Santa Claus was pretty much a lie because I had to do deductive reasoning and find out who was putting Christmas trees, presents, my presents underneath the Christmas tree. I was too curious. When you're an indigo child, before the age of 10 years old, please understand, if you're a starseed child or whatever, don't say that you are these things. You may become aware after the age of 10. You might feel that you are special, you overcame a hurdle in your life or a red pill in your life, but that's okay. But you're not, okay? You have the capability of questioning everything in existence. I got smacked a lot by asking a lot of questions. I got smacked a lot for just making mistakes. But then I realized that even the adults didn't have answers correctly for my questions. I was too questioning. So after I found out Santa Claus didn't exist, okay, and Easter Bunny and everything else, naturally, but my own cognizance, okay, I realized something. Please, when I used to ask my mom about Jesus and God, I would ask very astute, logical, clear questions, but they would never answer. But then I found out I had to do more research, so I started pondering, is there other religions older than Christianity? Is there older religions than the Nation of Islam? And come to find out, Judaism, Hinduism, those things, those stories, the Mahabharata, the Vishnu Vedanta, I can't pronounce it, are far more interesting than what we are reading now today. Okay? The reason why, I always wondered why it was created religion. But I found this answer in the most peculiar way. I was like, wait a minute. In medieval times, okay, there was no laws and order. Without reading the scripture and without reading the Quran, this is what Malcolm X actually discovered. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. This is why he believed that the Nation of Islam is all nothing but a bunch of frauds. Because what I found out, I was like, holy shit. But I'm not gonna blow up your religion, okay? I'm not gonna tell you the surprise with the Nation of Islam. I'm not gonna tell you what I discovered and what I learned, okay? But anyway, what I learned is that the real core reason why religion was created, because the bishops of old realized that most human beings will not listen to sound advice. Let's remember this, okay? In medieval times, I repeat, humans back in those days had medieval animalistic nature, and they would do things that would possibly be more out of pocket or out of line, okay? Before the invaders, the Native Americans was talking about the white man as the invaders of the planet, came to this planet, the world was full of aboriginals who actually respected the earth. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole with that story, okay? But there are certain invaders in this world who were brought here and also entered the atmosphere of this world. All right, okay, I don't want to go too far with that. That's too deep for you guys. You got to go down the rabbit hole to find that, okay, right? right? You want to know how Caucasians was created, bioengineered? Look on the temples of the Egyptian pyramid. You'll find that shit, but they won't put that shit on TV because I saw it. I was even reading about it. But anyway, I digress here. The reason why human beings won't listen to sound advice is because there's no incentive, there's no psychological path to enforce them to follow, right? So instead, these species of humans had to create the Greeks, Roman Hellenizations, and create another psychological form, which is called fear. Okay, fear, false evidence appearing real. And this is what they use by plagiarizing older stories, Judaism, Hinduism, to create and concoct their stories so they can enforce it upon the world. So they can have fear in their hearts that they're going to be saved, okay? Or they're not going to burn for eternity of sorts, okay? And those people who are the Aboriginal people fell for this, especially in Africa. We already know that when you watch Shaka Zulu and you watch Roots, Jesus Christ didn't exist before them invaders came over and colonized the lands, okay? So we know that's common sense now, right? We know that's not actually common sense because you wasn't there, but we could use deductive reasoning stating that in history we know that slavery occurred for all races, okay? But the minority races, the Aboriginal races, actually were brainwashed. Books were changed, King James Version was changed, and a lot of Christians believe in this thing. Now, the Book of Mormon was created, Elijah Muhammad was created. As a matter of fact, the Christian faith actually protected Elijah Muhammad at one time when he escaped, okay? He came down from that mountain. People believed in that shit. But other than that, there was many prophets, and I don't want to go down the line. As a matter of fact, Jesus is not really the color of Leonardo da Vinci's cousin, okay? So understand this. It describes his color in the Bible, okay? So you could look that up on your own accord, okay? But please understand this. This is, there's a lot of discrepancies in all religion. There are over 3,000 different gods before Jesus and Elijah Muhammad. So since Japanese people tend to know this, and that's why they captured a few Muslim people and re-educated them, people start to learn things in a forceful way. When you're forced to do something, you learn better. Okay, you actually learn better, yes. It's like parents teaching their children how to basically understand what ABCs and 1, 2, 3s are so they can make it in society. But the real reason why religion exists because a bunch of powerful men, kind of like the CIA, the FBI, the Alphabet Boys, created a story, a book, in which they can imprint on people with their psychological tactics, okay? And so when you learn from the book, okay, you are forced, no matter if you choose or not. You could be passive about it or aggressive. That's why the Christian Crusades existed, because they were killing everybody who didn't believe in their Christian faith. The Nation of Islam, the Muslim Brotherhood, was fighting against the Christians for over thousands of years because of simple religion. It's about control of the people's mindset because they don't have morals for themselves. But now, since you understand why these bishops and these Gentiles and these Jesuits and these Constantines had to create a form of systematic fear, you understand. You can understand this by playing the game called Dante's Inferno. Because Dante's Inferno was on the path, man. I don't know why nobody talking about Dante's Inferno. And that's actually based on a book that he created talking about the 9 levels of motherfucking hell, right? Think about that, man. Dante's Inferno is on Xbox 360. Go look it up and play it. It's on the same page as God of War. It's not getting no recognition, though. And I'm wondering where's the Dante's Inferno 2 is at. Because that game had nudity in it. Kazoo, okay? It had the Cleopatra with her titties and shit all hanging out. Y'all should go play that game. Shit was spewing out of the nipples and shit. And I was like, yeah. But anyway, you go play that on your own time. You do your own research there. And I'm telling you the reason why religion was created. Religion actually means, in Latin, to bind. And since religion means to bind, what do you think that means? You're living in fear, to be controlled. Now, I'm not saying to go out there and be immoral, because I'm the Emerald Pillar King, yeah. I'm not going out there saying you should be immoral to do heinous things, but you already understand why they needed to put that in place. So since we understand why religion was in place, please tell other people, if you like. Get out of the Jesus rut. Get out of the Elijah Muhammad's. People need some sort of incentive to do good. And that is just one way, a great evil for a greater good, to make sure people do fall into place. Okay, and that psychology, that dark psychology is actually still going on to this day. Right. But other than that, that's all I really gotta say. But let me tell you a secret too, you guys. We all are gods, okay? The word God can be interchangeable with many different things. There's a God particle with quantum physics. There's the God complex. There's just we as just beings. We can create life too. Every human being can create life, scientifically or biologically. So we are naturally gods. I'm not talking about the spook in the motherfucking sky that you delusionals are thinking of. You can think hypothetical all you want. We all are gods. And once you say in yourself to yourself, I am no God, then you are sheep. You are sheep. If you can't sit and deep think the things that I'm saying, okay? Deep think. I said deep think. You don't have the word of God. You need to be controlled. To have deep thinker means to think long term. What is beneficial for the Homo sapien race and every other different type of species of creature upon this whole entire God-forsaken world. The words God, Lord, and Savior are all interchangeable and they're the same. It's up to you guys to choose which one you want to be. I'm all of the above. Okay. I am also a king too, so I don't have to worry about it. I came in this life to see how human beings are living in this, heaven and hell, pandemonium. Okay. I'm a watcher here. When people do bad upon me, a lot of people tend to suffer, and it's I'm not really supposed to interact with people, but I do. You get bored. I get lost out sometimes. I cause a lot of death and destruction passively. It's not my fault. Okay. It's not my fault, dogs. Okay, I can't be your friend. People want to be my friend on the internet, and I'm like, okay, you want to be cool with me? It don't have to be about finances. You don't have to join my Patreon. But if you need my content and you want me to keep in touch with you, that's not going to happen. Okay, because you're not putting your energy into me. Okay, your money is a form of energy, right? You don't appreciate the things I say. You don't appreciate my therapy sessions. You know how much they charge for therapy per hour? On Medicare and Medicaid, when you try to get it and you ain't got no monies in your pockets, they charge $200 an hour, baby. I only charge $25 a month. If 60 people gave me $25 a month, I'd probably be well off in life, very much, because I went to college for 2 years for psychology. Gavin Samuels says he's not a therapist. I'm a therapist. I've talked to way more women than he has, okay? A lot of other people, yeah. I did a lot of different things, too, with women, too. I do different things. I was a babysitter. I was a motherfucking advisor. I was a masseuse. I was a fucking dildo fucker, okay? I got paid for my services, yes. You guys never got paid like that. You're not alphas. I am not a whore. But if I do meet a whore, I'll try to teach her and talk to her about pussy reconstruction or some shit and try to get shit fixed so she can lie to herself. Okay? Because alphas don't use vaginas, guys. Alphas, sigmas, and definitely indigos. You'll get contaminated. You don't fuck around with that. She's already been in the streets. She belongs to the streets. She stays there. She's cursed. I would not want to be a woman. That is like the worst curse, okay? Because it's not about having children. It's about just the guy you lay with. And you're going to need a lot. Not really a lot. It's just men are low maintenance anyways. There's not a lot of education you need. You just need to have something in common. You got to keep yourself active. What is the man that you're talking to doing? And that's what it comes down to. Did you get permission from your elders? That's what they still do in Africa. Your period, you have to get your check. You got to get your checkup. You can't get horny. That back in those days, they used to cut off large libias in Africa, but they just now stopping that in certain sectors in Africa, and that's a terrible thing, simply because of the pleasure of a man. Okay, those are selfish men who did that. But understand this one thing: since mankind are more likely a childish-like race, I am no ordinary man here. Okay, by the way, they have to have something to keep them going. Keep them going, to keep them following orders. Though most people do not follow religion, the great evil for a greater good, what is the next step? What is the next step? do we need a sign from the sky to put more fear into humanity, to get themselves in order, to do their due diligence to make sure human beings can actually extend their life? But the reason why human beings have been reduced in their lifespan is because of the fact that we haven't learned how to come together. That's it. It's that simple. And since we still have turmoil with one another, having war and fights because of color and little, superficial things, you can't do the Star Trek universe. You can't do it. We actually have to have a catastrophe to happen, like the Star Trek generation universe, in order for something to happen. Okay. But other than that, that's all I really gotta say, guys. I love you all, but I hate the many of you. I hope you learned something from this goddamn video of why religion was created. You can also do some research on the origins of religion. It helps. Okay, but you don't want to go there, right? You want to be stuck because you're too irresponsible to understand what common sense is and morality is. You don't know what that is, okay? But anyway, that's all I really gotta say for right now. I love you all, but I hate many of you. And guess what I'm gonna say? I'm about to be moving soon. I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan.